push. There you go. Awesome.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing.
Well, one thing that I learned on track with one of the activities was where one of us was blindfolded and we were being guided to a treat. And basically I learned that like the Holy Spirit, it's guiding us to get the reward in the very end, and it's important not to get distracted on the way.
Something I've learned on Trek is patience, like whether it's being stuck behind a slow family or waiting for food or things like that, or just dealing with people who are sometimes hard to deal with. Patience has been a big one that I've learned.
I've learned to love, even if at first you didn't know anyone, but you've come to love your family. Yeah.
I don't know, I guess I learned the essence of hard work and how everyone needs to pitch in and work together, which is very important. And I feel like we are able to get to know people a lot better through that principle. And I mean, honestly, I probably didn't know 2 or 3 of you guys here, and it's been a lot of fun getting to know everyone. So.
I kind of already knew this, but how amazing today's youth are. They are just outstanding. Blow me away every day with all that you guys can do and teach me. That's it.
How to be more positive, because it's really hard to be positive when the trail ahead doesn't look very pretty. But positivity really helps us get through.
One thing I learned from Trek is teamwork, I mean working together as a family, we could do anything really.
I learned that it's sometimes you have to do hard things, but as long as you can get through it, then it's fun. And when you have people with you, it's easier.
I've learned to laugh through the hard times. That's it.
She laughs a lot, so we must be giving her a really hard time.
I learned that our family is not just at home; it could be here too. And I've really bonded with these guys. I didn't think so at first. I didn't really feel like I'd work well, but over these past couple days, I've really gotten close, and this is really enjoyable being with them.
Alright, this family has taught me a lot about being selfless and just putting the work in when it matters, because when we were pulling the hand carts, it was like everyone was like, I feel like I'm not doing enough, and that was because everyone was putting their all in, and we didn't have to work as hard because we were supporting each other. And so I think that really made the difference.
Like when I first got on Trek, I thought it was going to be pretty hard to not be able to like go without having pictures of my friends, like playing a game, like how there was the talk this morning about instant gratification. I really listened to that and like thought, you know, like the pioneers didn't have any of this. They had to like write their letters and stuff like that instead of texting. And I just thought like it was pretty fun to like just go out in the wilderness and trek along, camp for like a long time and forever without having to have technology or anything like that.
I think I learned a lot about sacrifice. I think about what the early pioneers did with their sacrifice, sacrificing their lives, their homes, their businesses. And I think about the things that we have to sacrifice now. We don't have to sacrifice maybe our work or our home, but sometimes we do have to sacrifice our time or our thought process. And going on Trek is kind of reaffirming that. You're able to think towards the Lord a little bit more. And it's a good place to connect to and reflect on yourself because you're in nature without any distractions.
We would want you to know to keep plugging along in life. And life is hard, but it's enjoyable. And keep plugging along. And he said to make sure you have bigger wheels in that car.
I want them to remember that they can do hard things and that they can have fun while doing it.
Yeah, well said, Mother. I want them to learn that just like doing hard things, life's going to be hard in the future. It may be physically, it may be their faith. They may be struggling in certain ways, but just like Trek, you can persevere and you can do it, and you can get help from other people to help. Maybe the ma or pa, maybe a church leader, it may be the peers that are here in the group. There's been times where each of us have struggled during Trek, but we've been able to make it together as a family.
I want the kids to know they can do hard things, whether it's physical or spiritual or navigating this awful world. They can do hard things and they can get there.
And that I still love them.
I think this, one statement to just in general, I was just going to say, I think this generation of kids blows my mind. They're incredible. And I just hope they know how incredible they are.
You want me to tell them? They listen to you, Mom. I'd say resilience. Like, keep at it. Don't, I mean, if anything in Trek that I've seen, you know, evidenced in our family is they just don't give up. They face obstacles and they keep going. So resilience, keep at it. Life's gonna be like that. You gotta keep at it.
Keep the same attitudes you have now in whatever you're doing.
I think our overall theme for our family has kind of been how to find and what brings like joy and true happiness, and I hope that they know that hard work will bring blessings, and it's not always going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it.
Yeah, no, I hope that that 20 years from now they're as hardworking, obedient, faithful as they are right now.
We got a pretty stellar group.
Yeah, we got a group.
No, I think that I would want the kids to remember just that they're able to do hard things and to get outside of their comfort zone. Like, I know I didn't know most of you guys here. I knew a couple of you guys before we came, but I assume that was the same for the rest of you, that a lot of us were new and that you guys were able to get to know each other and kind of form bonds with other people. And I think that's a really important thing to learn to do in life, is to go outside of your comfort zone and to meet other people.
I think I'd want them to remember the family that we had here, because we all had fun with a big group of everyone that was on Trek, but I just feel a real closeness to the people that are in this family, and I think the way we've worked together and gotten to know each other has been really special, so I hope they'll take that home and try to have that same closeness and unity with their own families.
thing I think about is that life is a test, and there's all kinds of different tests. Some things are doing hard. It's doing hard things as a test. Sometimes it's easy things are a test. But all the testing ends up with the same outcome of whether or not we choose the Lord and His plan. And if we do that, whether they're easy or hard things, we'll be all right.
To build upon that, trials will come in life. Just know that. Expect that. That's a part of this life. But to turn to the Lord always. To not to go through those trials alone, because it's much harder to choose that. So choose the Lord, and you'll struggle through those trials, but in the end, hopefully you'll draw closer to your Savior.
I think I want them to remember that, for one thing, they're amazing. Like, that they can accomplish anything, and that they all have their own strengths. It's been fun to see what they can pull out and things that you wouldn't really expect from them. Has been really fun to just see their personalities shine and their strengths. And like, I mean, we have some people that can do the pull stick that you wouldn't expect. We have some people who can get in the cage and just like pull the whole cart by themselves. Like, it's been really fun to see everybody just pull their weight though and do their thing and figure out how they're gonna do it. So you guys can do it. Anything.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I thought of is that, you know, you guys are all on your own paths, and so is everybody else. You're gonna come across some challenges that you're not expecting. You don't know what they're gonna be. But like the pioneers, and like you've done the last couple of days, you can rely on the Savior, and you can rely on others, and you'll be able to make it through anything that life throws at you.
Well, I want them to know how impressed that we are with your attitudes and your strength and the way that you guys overcame challenges. I think you guys are amazing kids, and I don't think could have gotten a better group to hang out with for a few days. And I hope you know that you can do hard things in your life. And when the going gets tough, I hope you'll remember this a few days that you spent with us, and I hope we'll continue to keep in touch over these years.
What I would say to you guys is just, even though we've only been together for a few days, we love you guys so much, and we think you have amazing potential, and you're incredible people, each one of you, and we see so much talent and just incredible characteristics in all of you, and we're, like Paul said, we're so impressed, and we've had so much fun with you guys.
So my advice would be, if you guys get the opportunity to help out with Trek, it's worth the sacrifice. It's not going to be easy as you get older and you have responsibilities like work and family and other things, but when it comes along, I think I learned probably just as much, if not more, than you guys on this whole trip. It is so worth it.
My advice is choose to show up and choose to be here in everything, because you just never know what's going to happen. And I think just being at the right place at the right time, that's when God can work miracles. And if we just choose to show up to these activities, you're going to have some great experiences.
That's what it starts with. Yep.
I would probably want them to remember that that the way you look at your challenges is probably more important than the challenges you're given, and that positive attitude goes a really long way. We are super lucky because we have a really positive family, but I think if you have just one person not positive, that it could really affect the whole vibe of the family. So a positive attitude is probably number one for me, and then how that'll affect their lives forever, not just on Trek. Travis?
That sounds great. Really like that. I would say that we've talked about this a lot, but like, good things are often hard things, and I think we've had a lot of things that are hard here. A couple things physically, but not a ton. I think it's been pretty great here. But when you do come across something that's hard, often remember that there's a good thing that's going to follow it, and I think that's the lesson, one of the big lessons that Trek provides.
This is you.
That we're all pioneers.
No matter how old or young you are, no matter what day and age you live in, you're a pioneer. And the efforts you put forth right now and the sacrifices you make may be a huge impact for generations to come.
I think that one thing that you learn on Trek is that it's not about just you. That you're here and you're in families in your real life and on Trek for a purpose, and you're here to help people around you as they help you be lifted.
One is I am so proud that you took up the challenge to even come on Trek. Sometimes it's hard to take on a new experience that you're not sure what it's going to be or what kind of sacrifice is going to be asked of you. And because you did it, I know you've all grown, and I just challenge you throughout the rest of your life when opportunities are come. It's easy to say, nah, I don't think so. But by taking it, I know you're going to always grow inside, physically, spiritually, and mentally, and it's worth it. Anything that we're given, especially in the gospel, to grow, will be worth it.
I kind of wanted to say the same thing that, or similar to what Easton said, but to remember that through hardships, strong friendships are formed, and they last for a long time, sometimes through life. You know, this obviously it's not very extreme, but it is a hardship for some of you, and it is when you have somebody's shoulder and arm pulling next to you, helping you out, you really remember those for a long, long time.
My message to you guys is I hope you remember the feelings you felt on Trek, and hopefully you have felt the Spirit and you have felt Him testify to you of the truthfulness of the things that we've discussed in our family. I hope you remember that life is meant to be hard. It's not meant to be easy. You're gonna go through hard things, but I think you learned at this time here that you can do hard things, and it's just part of the plan, and it's meant to refine you and become the person that Heavenly Father wants you to become. So hopefully you're still on that path, and if you're not and you see this again, you know that you can get back on it, right? So that's what I got.
I think the most important thing to know is just how many people love them, and just that people, even the dog, just that people are willing to do so much for them because they really do. They love you, and no matter what you do, no matter what you go through, it's just good to know how many people love you.
And I would like them to remember this experience and to have them know that, like, they can do hard things. Like, certainly there are people that came before that did harder things, but those people didn't have any special capabilities that you don't have. Like, you guys are capable of all of the things that we are hearing about, and remember how important these experiences are about, like, most of you guys didn't know each other before we even started, and look at how much we can gel in these commonalities, and like always remember, like, the immense commonality that we have with the other saints is that we have the same idea about where we came from, why we're here, where we're going, what is our purpose, right? What we can become. We have that so much in common. Anywhere in the world you go now, you have family.
Thank you.